Peace, love, and light. Yes, we're out in nature, y'all, and we're gonna get straight into today's video. Okay, today we're gonna be we're doing a continuation of the signs, that how we can use basically astrology signs to organize and bring structure into our lives. And yes, so today we're gonna be talking about the fire element. And with the fire element, there are 3 fire signs in astrology: Aries, Leo, and Sag. And then with that being said, we're going to start off with Aries, the baby, the first sign of the zodiac. And Aries has a lot to do with it's a cardinal, so that has a lot to do with starting. It's first sign, so it has the ability to start. And then it's ruled by Mars. And with Mars, that is the planet of anger, aggression, our fights, our ability to be ambitious, our drive. It's like our energy, like what gets us up, So with that being said, with Aries energy, Aries has a lot to do with our bodies, right? Because even in astrology, Aries rules the first house, and the first house is how you physically look. It's your head, it's how when people see you, this is what they see. So with that being said, it ruling the body, something that you may want to do with within our routines, within our lives, is working out, taking care of our bodies. Not only is working out good for our physical health, but it's good just for, I always say, anytime I work out, I always feel better than when I originally started. There's not one time that I go to the gym and I leave the gym not feeling good, because it activates a lot of different things. And then, like, you mentally, when you're at the gym, it's like mind, muscle. So it's like that mind muscle connection. So it's like it's just crucial that we work out, right? Even if it's something that it's a little, a squat a day. If you don't have no workout regimen, I say always start small. Start out with a squat a day. Do a sit up. Do like 2 push-ups a day until you can really elevate and take it to the next level. I'm like, am I speaking so loud? I had my headphones in my ear. But yes, so working out. And working out doesn't only have to be working out at the gym. I say find a sport, something I love to do. You probably see some videos on my channel of me hula hooping. Figure out something that you like. There's tennis, there's basketball, there's swimming. And for those who don't want to get too sweaty, there's swimming, there's yoga, there's Pilates. There's so many different forms of workouts we can do. That can be fun. That can be that can be fun. And there's some that you can do solo, there's some that you can do with a partner. Figure out, there's roller skating, y'all. There's so much different things we can get into. It's not even funny. I love it. But yes, with Aries energy, as well as it rules, I was saying, it's ruled by Mars, so frustration, anger, something you may want to do if you feel like you're a person who gets, one thing I like to look at with energy, like, even, because Mars, Aries energy gets like a negative connotation because it rules a fight or aggression, being angry. And these are not bad things at all. Some people do their ability to assert themselves and to be courageous is some people who are, more calm, more passive. That can be a strength for them. That can uplift them. Like, hey, I was always quiet. Hey, I didn't really stand up for myself. I see this Aries energy standing for himself, asserting himself. That can be a really beautiful thing. I always say in life, everything is balance, right? And even Aries, because the opposite of Aries is Libra. Libra rules balance. So something I feel like you want to do. Our aggression, like I said, there's nothing wrong with being angry. There's nothing wrong with expressing frustration when time to be. Sometimes we do need to be aggressive. Sometimes we do need to be impulsive. Sometimes we do need to fight, right? But with that being said, you just want to make sure this is a balanced energy. You don't want to be too overboard, too impulsive, like you're always getting in a car accident because you drive too fast, or you're always moving too fast, so you get cuts and breaks. You may want to figure out a way where you can simmer down some of that energy at certain times. Maybe if you're in the car, I would say maybe put some sticky post-its up just to keep you reminded to drive slower, breathe before you curse someone out if you have road rage. You know, maybe play some music that calms you down so you're not as, or maybe smoke a little ganja. Some of us need that, okay? But whatever, excuse me, but whatever way it can get you to calm down your energy. There's so many different practices you can do. There's music, sometimes there's food. Sometimes some of us need anger management problems so we can manage our anger and frustration. There's also, yeah, and then we're gonna go into the second sign. And the second sign is Leo. Shout out to my Leos out there. Leos is a fixed energy, and fixed has, you know, it doesn't really change. It's hard for it to change, but it can stick through something for the long term and really, you know, it's like if you stick to something long enough, that's just a fixed sign. But them, they can stick to something and like stick to a job that maybe may not serve them, and it's hard for them to really get, you know, change, right? So with fixed energy, Leo's also ruled by the sun, and the sun has a lot to do with how we shine, how we put ourselves out there, and how we are yeah. So with that said, Leo has is really connected to the fifth house. The fifth house rules children. Leo's energy is kind of like the children is ruled by the sun. And with that being said, yes, a lot of us that are watching this are not children, right? But something that we have that's within us is called our inner child. I know some of y'all may have heard of it, but if you don't know, it's like tapping into some of the things that you would like to, some of the things that you either like to do, or some of the feelings that you had, or some of the thoughts that you had, but really just tapping into that creative energy, right? Or things that you used to enjoy as kids, you know? We used to enjoy painting and drawing and dancing and gymnastics, but as life progressed and we got older, it's only been about bills. It's been about bills and yeah, it's been about bills and, you know, just the things that we go through, you know, cursing out our boyfriend because he didn't pay his child support or whatever. I know that's ratchet, but, you know, some people are really experiencing that, just, you know, being real about that. But like I was saying, tapping into that inner child energy. So tapping into your creative energy, things that you're passionate about, things like your hobbies. Don't forget these things. You know, life can be boring because we make it boring. And this is a shout out to my woman, because this is for you. Because a lot of us, I feel like, and Leo was ruled by like, it's a masculine side. So I feel like men embody this energy. You know, they have their sports, they watch, you know, superhero movies. They love it, right? And I'm not mad at them at that. But us women is like, I feel like, I'm not saying we're more responsible, but it is a little true. We do grow a little faster. And that being said, I feel like we, you know, and some of us, especially as mothers, I know you can definitely relate with what I'm saying. Is like, we got into the habit of like taking care of everything, taking care of the kids, taking care of the homes, taking care of our husbands, our boyfriends. And then we kind of forgot to tap into our yarning, our drawing, our art, our dancing, whatever it is. So my women out there, please, you know, don't forget about yourselves, or spending a little bit of time doing things that you love, things that you're passionate about, or tapping into your creativity, whatever that is, because tapping into these things can help you shift your energy. So if you have like a negative state, not a negative state, like you're always thinking about something that happened in the past, maybe you had a bad breakup, but you have the habit of every Friday or every other day, you go tennis with your boys, or you go to a dance studio, and every time you go to the dance studio, you feel good after. And that's the whole thing you want to start establishing, is get into a habit of creating routines with things that you love, things that boost your energy, things that, you know, keep you vibrating on a higher level. Because the times that you feel like you are in a lower level, because we do have those moments where we're thinking about the past, thinking about things that happened to us that brings and lowers our energy down. If you have a regimen of healthy high vibrational things to do, it's going to make it a little bit easier for you to go through those hard moments. And if you create a healthy routine, it's like, yeah, I'm not saying these things go away. Of course you want to address it, but I say it kind of makes it a little bit better. So yes, tapping into your creative energy, your passions is everything, Leo, right? Maybe some of us need a I can see this as well, like some of us maybe need to show off, you know, like put ourselves out there is what I'm thinking about, because Leo has a lot to do with the sacral solar plexus, and it has a lot to do with willpower, courage. So if you feel like you're lacking courage, you may want to do some like hermetic breath practices and some shadow work practices to help you balance out that energy, because you don't want to be a person who if you, like, let's say you had a new product and you kind of struggle with showing off and putting yourself out there, you're gonna kind of, I'm not saying fail, but you're not gonna reach the audience that you want to, because you lack that trait to uplift that trait. And anything is possible for us to, if we work on it. I'm not saying you're going to be as charismatic as someone who's already naturally like this, but the more we work on it, it's the more you can get better at anything, y'all. I'm telling you, the whole key here is practice makes perfect. Consistency is it. Consistency is how you get to where you need to get to, and what you're being consistent with things that raise your vibration, things that are healthy is the idea, is the mindset that you want to have. Okay, so in the last sign, one of my favorites, it is actually my favorite sign. I have two of them, but that's one of them. And shout out to my Sages. I am a Sag rising, and Sag is immutable energy. It's ruled by the planet of Jupiter, luck, right? How can you not like the planet of luck, of expansion, of teaching, of travel, of being optimistic? And you know, I just love it. Like, there's no, you know, it's a benefic planet, so there's like no really negatives to it besides it being too much, which Sag can be a little too much. You know, I know I can be too much. But yeah, with Sag energy, it rules, you know, our higher mind, right? We go to college, we go to education, we get training programs. So I say expanding our minds. I mentioned this in my ear video yesterday, how like a lot of us after high school, we stop learning. We stop, after high school or college, we stop learning. And learning, I feel like, should be something that we're tapping into on a day basis. Like, you know, we stimulate our emotional, we stimulate our physical, but stimulate that mental energy as well. So with Sag, has a lot to do with just being optimistic, right? Yeah, being optimistic, and it rules like higher education, higher learning. So maybe seeking some type of training that can elevate your business, seeking some type of training that can elevate your hobby, something that you just love. It doesn't have to be as serious as something to make you money, or something, you know, create a book or whatever. It can be something just fun, you know. Maybe getting that's like higher education, but it could be like higher education could be like you take an astrology course, or whatever it is, you know. It's just that learning, you know, stimulating us to keep on that energy of learning, and then like, and just putting yourself out there. I feel like it's because fire has a lot to do with just putting yourself out there, right? And with Sag energy, it's very bold. It's ruled. Yeah, it's very bold. So if you feel like you're a person who lacks, like, I'm not saying you have to be bold, but like I said, this is just to those who feel like they may lack something, and that lack is stopping them from getting to a certain level. That's when you want to start implementing something to help assist you. And I feel like if you lack being bold, remembering that Sag energy and really studying that Sag energy, because Sag has, they just say what it is. They're very blunt. They're going to say how it is, what it is. They're the teachers. So yeah, so tapping in that, and it's very like a spiritual energy. So tapping into your spiritual energy as well, having a spiritual routine, spiritual hygiene. We have our brushing our teeth, washing our face, cleaning out the crust of our eyeballs, but we should balance. We have a hygiene ritual, we take showers every day, and then we have a spiritual hygiene. You're meditating, you're praying, you're going to the temple or whatever it is. Just making sure you have that balance. But something else I wanted to touch on, since I was thinking about it, with Aries energy also rules the ability that you do want to kind of focus, right? Because it rules initiating things. It's the start. It's so I feel like with that, it rules like focus energy. So some things that you want to do is to focus your energy, and you can do that through practices. I like to personally, I go on YouTube, power of our phones, and I Google different meditation practices. I almost lost my thought. I looked away. You Google constant focus meditation, like meditations to help you focus, meditations to help you concentrate. Something else that I like to do that I just started is called Taranka. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but it's an Indian practice where you'll be staring into a candle light and really focusing on that light without taking your awareness off of it. So that helps you. It's a very beautiful practice. It has been really helping me to be more focused, right? And just to throw out there, even though this is not an earth video, but just for focus, I love to just mention ashwagandha. Ashwagandha is a good herb to help with focus, energy. I remember fire is about just having energy. So thinking about things that give you energy, right? I feel like that earth is like kind of mixed with it. So just thinking about things that give you energy. So like eating right, eating juices, going out into the sun, like I said, sports, working out, those things like give you energy after you do it. So tapping into that, right? Because everything's energy, but I feel like that fire and all that energy, that high energy, that like when you finish working out, or right. So I hope you guys were able to understand how we can use the elements within our lives, because astrology and everything is connected. And yeah, I hope you guys were able to learn a little bit about the astrology signs. There's 12 of them, and I can go into more details about it, especially for my beginner astrologers who are interested in a little bit of astrology. If you're interested in that, you can leave a link in the description box. If not, we're going to be stay tuned for my next upcoming video. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Peace.